All right, welcome to another edition of Michael's Record Collection. I'm very honored to be joined by Annie Haslam from the band Renaissance. Um, we have a new release coming out here, or actually it just came out. 50th anniversary, Ashes Are Burning, an anthology, live in concert with the Renaissance Chamber Orchestra. That's quite a mouthful. Who picked
I
that
know
title?
it is. It could have been longer.
It,
Yeah,
it,
it was difficult to know what to call it really. But we thought Ashes Are Burning was good because it's such a popular song, and I'd already done a painting for it that we had behind us before on stage, and I thought that you could use parts of that for the cover and things. And
Mhm.
everybody knows the song, so that's why um, we put an anthology because we were concerned that people might think it's the whole album we were doing, which,
Mhm.
but it didn't matter. Everybody seemed to be very happy with what we did.
Yeah, it's a very prog name for the release. It's very long and but I like it. This is your first high resolution
The
Blu-ray
usual.
concert. First high
Yeah.
res Blu-ray, and this is a box set with two CDs, a DVD, and a Blu-ray. It was a live recording, and it was recorded October 12th, 2019, at the Keswick Theater in Glenside, Pennsylvania. It's a very nice theater. I've been there before.
Yeah.
And this came out on the 23rd, I believe, April 23rd in the US and Canada on Symphonic Rock Recordings, and everywhere else on April 30th on Cherry Red Records. And that, I believe, sold out at Cherry Red because I went online today and looked at it, but maybe they'll be getting more in. You can get it on Amazon and all the usual places. This is quite a it's a beautiful piece, very long, but that's good because prog fans are used to that.
Mhm.
Um, who gets to claim ownership for the title? I know we just talked about how long the title is. Whose idea was it?
It was mine to put anthology in, I think.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't remember. My memory's got so foggy since the last 2 years of losing all our work, so it's
Mhm.
difficult. But yeah, I mean, I feel like a different person in some ways. I have to force myself to. I laugh a lot usually, but I've cried a lot, since
Mhm.
like we all have, not
Yeah.
crying for ourselves, but crying for the planet. But um, no, I think it was Ray Tessar is my keyboard player and MD, and he was in my solo band as well. And he helps me with certain business things, and so I'm very very fortunate to have some good people around me. Yeah, it was long, but we still wanted to get the orchestra in there,
Yeah.
because it has to be in there because that's how it should have been the whole of our careers. We should have had an orchestra everywhere. So yeah, it is long, but we had to put them in, and then we had to do something about Ashes Are Burning, so we had to add anthology.
Mhm.
So there you go.
So you mentioned Rave. He plays on this keyboards. Mark Lambert plays guitars and vocals. Jeffrey Langley with keyboards and vocals. Leo Traversa bass guitar, vocals, and Frank Pagano drums, percussion, and vocals, and of course yourself on vocals.
Yeah.
And the Renaissance Chamber Orchestra, which is a 10-piece. Are there added complications with doing songs live with an orchestra? Do you have to change anything around with the
It,
with
it,
the?
it, I think everybody else is okay with it, really. I mean, it's obviously different because of they didn't wear in ears, thank goodness, because I'm deaf in one ear, and it's since they were invented. I think I started wearing them in 2020. It was a big boon for me, but because my monitors were so loud, it messed up the stage sound. But um, yeah, because the orchestra didn't wear in ears, they had monitors. So I think that's all that messing around that's got to be done for that. If there's any leakage, because they were behind us. They were a good about 6 feet behind us, maybe a bit with me. I was at the front of the stage, but Frank, the drummer, he is probably the closest to them. But I would say that the only problem might have been a couple of times the leakage, but it didn't. I don't think you really hear it, and if you do, it doesn't matter because it's a live show, live performance. You know, I'm very picky, and I didn't really want to do a Blu-ray because it's like, oh, I don't want people to see me close up, you know, and everything. You know, it's different for a woman, you know, to go on stage and than a man. I mean, they don't really care so much. Do you know what I mean? It's not that they don't care. Well, it is, but because they're men, you know. Oh, I didn't mean it like that.
No, it's good.
No, I didn't mean it like that at all. But yeah, so I think I was concerned for myself. And I remember the first time we did that was in 2017, and the first show we did was Ridgefield, Connecticut, and I was concerned at the sound check, thinking because too much goes in this ear, then I've got to bring my voice up, and you've got to be very careful how loud you have it when it's so close to your ear, the ear monitor. I mean, it does kind of filter out sounds that might, you know, pitches that might be harmful, but even so, you don't want to come off with your ear done. So it was a little difficult the first time for me. I had to get used to it, but everybody else was fine, you know, because they're playing all the time. I'm, you know, doing other gigs and different kinds of music, whereas I only really perform when we go out. So I've not, you know, especially filming, we haven't really had that much experience with being filmed, and which is a shame because Carnegie Hall and the Royal Albert Hall should have been filmed, and they weren't. But,
yeah, I was going to ask you about that actually. Aside from the appearance, concern about your appearance, you know, what kind of pressures or complications are there, you know, for performing for, you know, when this, you know, this is going to be a video document? Do you have to hit certain marks or anything like that?
what do you mean?
Like marks on the stage where you know you need to be in a certain place for a certain camera to get you from a certain angle, that kind of thing.
Well, you know, that's the other thing that is complicated, and you know, we don't have a big record company behind us to pay for any of this, and we were very fortunate to have an Indiegogo a crowdfunding thing to make this happen. Otherwise, we can't possibly do it. The money wouldn't be there to pay it, you know, 16 people for a start, on top of everything else, and the recording and blah blah blah. But we have the most incredible fans. I mean, you can tell by the looks on the faces in the video and just the way they reacted, but they followed us through, and then they've helped us so much with a couple of the crowdfunding things that we did. Yeah, apart from the band, you have to have a mixer. You have to have a permanent stage person that you take around with you as well, like a stage manager. But when you're filming, you need more people, and we have a lighting guy that could deal with the video as well that we put behind, you know, the paintings. I got a separate person to do some movement in some of the paintings that were up behind the orchestra that you see. But if we did that again, I would bring in a couple of people because there's so much going on, and we did have direction, obviously, but it's a lot of people don't realize what goes into it. I mean, it's non-ending. There's so many people involved in it, you know.
Yeah. You mentioned the paintings. These are your paintings that were served as the backdrops, and you had one for each song. Is that correct?
Yeah.
How were these paintings that you had already done, and you matched them to songs, or did you
No.
you did each one with that song in mind?
No, in 2017, when we decided to use the orchestra, I thought, oh my God, this is my opportunity to show my art. You know, I mean, I was already selling it. Fans are eating up these little 4x6 paintings that they're collecting now, and that's what I was doing. But this was an opportunity for them to be out in the world, you know, on a DVD, and that was 2017. And what I did is I know the song so well, and I can paint a song. I just listen to it, and I don't even look at anything. It just pours through me, whatever comes. I don't know where it comes from, to be honest. And so I thought, right, I'm going to do a song. I'm going to do a painting for each song. Because somebody said to me one day, how did you do so many paintings? How did you paint? It's 12 foot by 24 foot. I said, no. It was 12 inches by 24 inches. I was not on a ladder, you know, painting.
Right.
Oh, but that's, you know, they just came easily. And I was so thrilled the first time we did it. You know, I kept looking, I wanted to look round, and I was like, hang on a minute, I'm going to miss my lines here. But it was so wonderful to have the orchestra, and first time in 40 years, basically. And then to have my artwork there as well, which just gave it a little bit of an extra. You know, this time round, I had to do it again, but I used different paintings.
So when you put the set list together for this, or any set list for Renaissance, you've got 50 years to draw on. How does the set list come together? And as the vocalist, how much input do you have in the song order so that you can get proper rest in between?
Well, I have all the power in the world because I'm the captain of the ship now, you know. No, I didn't mean it like that. But no, this is why with Raver now we've worked. He knows, he's like Mickey. Mickey knew every note that I could sing and couldn't sing, or would be best in starting off in a certain key and where it should go. And Rave is just like that. He knows all of that. But we have such an amazing catalogue of music. And so, you know, if you think about it, like if we only go round once a year, which I think 2019, I think we only played in the fall. I don't think we did anything in the spring. But so we have to think about the favorites. You know, we didn't do Mother Russia this time around because we did it the last time, so that you can't keep adding them because most of them are long. The best ones are the long ones. And so, but I do have to think about also, am I singing enough? If we did all long songs, then I'd be at the back of the stage playing the tambourine most of the time because there's a lot of instrumentals, you know. So I think we got a good. It was difficult though, you know. There were so many great songs we could have chosen, but that's a challenge, but nobody's complained, you know. And of course, bringing Jim McCarthy into the mix, he was at my audition, and that's the song Island is the song that I sang for my audition that got me the job.
That's great. That's what I was going to ask you about, is what it was like being on a stage with him when you haven't worked together in so long.
Well, I've never worked on stage with him. I did do, he, myself, and Louis Sinamo, who was the original bass player in Renaissance, got together, my gosh, when was it? Maybe early 80s. It was a long time ago. And we thought, let's see if we can write something together. You know, we started doing a couple like new agey kind of acoustic things, but it didn't go anywhere. It obviously wasn't meant to be, but it was nice to be together. But it was that was no. And then when Jim came over with the Yardbirds the last few years, and then he came over with his own band and played at the Iridium in New York. I went to see him, so it was great to see him then. And we were friends, you know. And he's got great sense of humor. He's a lovely man. And so the first thing I told him, and I said to Rave, we have to fly over. And we were going to bring over Terry Sullivan as well. But unfortunately circumstances didn't allow it, just the timing or whatever, because it would have been great having him in the band, you know. It was great with Jim. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. We'll see, you know. I mean, I know that's going to be coming up in a question in a minute, isn't it? Did
you need to sort of talk Jim into it, or was he like just receptive right off the bat? He was just jumped at the chance.
I'll come. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, he came over. I think he stayed over. I think he might have done a show somewhere a couple of nights before. He managed to get a little gig somewhere down south somewhere. Not down south, real south, but south of
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, New York, or whatever.
Mhm.
But I think he saw some friends, or whatever. But yeah, it was perfect. The timing was just right, and it just worked out so well, and everybody loved him. He got on so well, and he was so thrilled. I mean, to have your song put to an orchestra put on it, because there was never an orchestra on it.
You sound great on this performance, and your voice hasn't lost anything. You still hit those great high notes at the end of some of these songs when they build
Yeah.
to the climax at the end. How do you keep your voice in such great shape? Do you do anything special?
Indian curry and French champagne. They're my favorites. But no, actually, I found out that eating curry, I like the paneer tikka masala. I used to eat chicken. I'm vegetarian now. But unfortunately, because I like it medium spicy, which is quite hot, it burns your vocal cords. It's common sense, really. It's all these spices. So I cut down before, I mean, I used to have at least one a week, but I think I'm having like one every 2 weeks now. I go and get some for a friend and myself. But and also drinking wine, that's not good either, because it's acidic. That's not eats away at your vocal cords. So I really am very careful before touring with my throat. and just all the work, I was drinking a lot. Yeah, not like a drunkard or anything like that, but I wasn't being as careful as I would be if I was singing, just because I was depressed.
Yeah, more.
So anyway, everything's changing now, so we've got to be positive and move forward.
That's right, exactly. I want to go back a ways now and ask you sort of how old you were when you realized your voice was special and different than maybe some of your friends.
Well, when I was 6, I was thrown out of the school choir for singing too loud. So I didn't think I was going to be a singer. And then my Auntie Joan and Uncle Eric, my mother's sister, and family, cousins as well, the older cousins, sang in light opera in Buxton, in Derbyshire, in the Buxton Opera House there, the Amateur Dramatic Society. And they did a lot of Gilbert and Sullivan. Ruddy Gore, the Mikado, Pirates of Penzance, and I used to go when I was a little girl. And I think that when I remember being about maybe 10, something like that, and I was sitting in a box. I had a box, I did. And we played in the Buxton Opera House in 2015, and I sat in the box and had a picture taken. But that's where the seed was planted, I think. Plus, my father was an amateur comedian singer, and when he used to practice at home, that used to go in. I didn't know because I was a little girl, but I mean, it must have been that, And then my brother Michael, my father had a voice of a tenor, so if I'd have been older, I would have made a star out of him, because he could have been a star in opera. I know he could. I can remember his voice. But my brother Michael got that from my father as well, and ended up being managed by Brian Epstein. You probably know that little bit of history. But as far as I had a boyfriend called Eric, and we went to parties. This was around 1969, 70, I think. And I used to hear me singing at parties, and he said, "Let's put you in for some talent competitions." And I was really pretty shy, and I said, "Oh, I don't know about that." And anyway, I did. And we went to these, some of them were nice places, some of them were like London pubs, where the Cray brothers used to hang out, things like that, but real English pubs. And I used to win a lot of the competitions. So but I didn't really think anything like, oh, my voice is different or anything like that, because I felt a little intimidated, because all the other girls, or the women, young women at the time that were going for the auditions, used to wear high heels and show, show the boobies and things. Not show them, but
Right.
it's completely different from me. So I thought that people wanted them. And some of them had great voices, but some of them didn't. But it was what they looked like. So I didn't think that I would really get very far, because of not because of the way I look, but because I didn't really know at that point. I did go to an opera singer called Sybil Knight for about 9 months. That's after I went to Shirley Bassey's teacher first, and he loved my voice. He said it was unique, but he said he only took, and he wanted to take me on, but I had a day job, so I couldn't do it then. But he said, you have a unique voice. And the lady that he passed me on to also said the same thing, because she said, I think you should be singing opera. But I said, I don't want that. I don't want to be stuck in one place. I knew that wasn't for me, but I didn't know Renaissance was coming up at all. And ended up in a cabaret group for 6 months.
So you had your family's very theatrical background. It sounds like your history with music probably started there. Was there a point where you started to listen to popular music or rock music at all growing up?
Yeah, well, let me think about this, because when Michael was starting to, he was practicing and everything before he got discovered. He used to, I shared a bedroom with him and my two brothers, because it was a 2 up, 2 down, and outside toilet, you know, one of those working class family, a row home, you call it here. And, but I remember he'd put Radio Luxembourg on. And so we'd listen to pop, you know, and then I think when I was, and Ketty Lester and oh gosh, I can't think of the names of it. Oh, the Shirelles and people, all different mixture actually. But I don't think any heavy music, if I remember rightly. I didn't think anything like that. But you know, all the hits, pop music, I suppose. Bobby V, I was thinking about. That's right. I learned to jive to Bobby V, Rubber Ball.
Do you still listen to music regularly, or is that not part of your everyday life?
Yeah, sometimes I do. I have an Alexa, which I didn't really want, but I have as a gift. But I find it really useful if I want to know who wrote a classical piece, and then I'll find, you know, there's a lot of good stuff you can get from it. And so but when I paint, as you know, I'm a painter as well, I like to listen to some of our things, and I've just been commissioned to paint Let It Grow and Carpet the Sun. So that's 2 paintings I'm going to be doing of those. I like to have old English movies on in the background, but I love Rufus Wainwright. Is one of my favorites at the moment. It has been for a while. I really love his music, love it. And of course, yes, and Steve Hackett, people like that, and Genesis, you know, from the old days, and a lot of those we played with. We played with Yes in the 70s. I remember that. We haven't played with Genesis, but Steve Hackett's a friend of mine now, which is nice. He's you know, isn't he the best guitarist in the world?
Yeah, he's fantastic, actually. So when you listen, is everything through the Alexa, or do you have a format that you like? Do you like vinyl still? Do you like CDs?
No, I don't have time to do different things. So many people say, why don't you get this, or why don't you get an iPod, or blah blah blah. But I said, I can't do it, because the thing is, right now, because you know we're getting all the DVDs out of the door, so to speak. I can't, it's very difficult to think about my art 100%, but because I haven't been working, I have to think about that, because that's the only way that I can make any money right now, you know. And so but there's going to be plans soon, very soon, for next year, and I'm confident that there'll be something interesting going on. But and we have to go back to Brazil, because we're rescheduled there in March, and I'm not sure what it's like there right now. In fact, I have to make a phone call later on. But that's been rescheduled 3 times now. And then we're headlining now to the Prague in July in Lorelei. I'm looking forward to that. So I'm sure by then it's going to be clear and we can go over there, you know, hopefully.
When you look back at this amazing career that you have had and the band has had, 50 years, certainly that must have never entered your mind when you auditioned to be in Renaissance. What do you think the legacy of this band and your work will be when it's all said and done?
I think that we've always been unique. I think we had a lapse when we did timeline. We started to change with As You Adore after we were being pressured after Northern Lights was a hit, which is obvious, you know, it's money stuff, and that was kind of a scary time. And we kind of lost it, I think. Yeah, timeline and camera, some great songs on there, but songs that anybody could sing. You know, we lost that the uniqueness. But then we came back in 2009, Michael Dunford and myself, and we started it up again. And we said we have to go back to our roots, and we came out with a Grandinale Vento, and that did well. But this music, there's nothing like it. I can't tell you. It's hundreds of letters and emails from people, particularly during the pandemic, saying how the music and my voice have just helped them so much. And we've had that for years. I mean, that goes for a lot of bands, because everybody's tuned into a different kind of wavelength. You know, everybody's got their own belief system and their love of certain bands, and they usually stick with them. And that's the thing that's kept us going, is the amazing fans that we have all over the world. That's what I wanted to do, or would like. If there's something that, if I had a wish now, that would be to be able to take this band with the orchestra that we have all over the world, so people, you know, and not charge exorbitant prices, you know, pay just to get through it, and that's all, just so that the people can hear that music. There's nothing like it. I just, you know, I'm very proud of everything that we've done. Betty Thatcher, as you know, was a huge part of the band, really, in a way, with all the, you know, I've done a few lyrics later on, but she was the star of all that. She was so wonderful. And so the lyrics as well are so deep and beautiful, as well as the music. There's so much in the band, really. We had, and I think the five of us, you know, which was myself, Michael Dunford, John Tout, Terry Sullivan, and John Camp. That was the essence of the band. Where we, you know, we took it further than the original Renaissance, and we started. It became our own, and there was nothing like it. And there's, you know, I haven't seen anything like it since, to be honest. But we'll always play that music because people want to hear it, and we love playing it.
Yeah. You mentioned the Brazil trip that's been rescheduled. How many dates did the pandemic interrupt for you guys?
Well, I think we had 5 dates in Brazil. Then I was going to Portugal with my friend Patrick Moraz, and we were going to be we were doing a duo together, which we were really looking forward to. There'll be a lot of laughing in that one. Yeah. And so everything was planned out, got the airline tickets all sorted out and everything, and then the pandemic hit. Oh. And I don't know. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think I might find out if they think they might be doing that again, because it was in Portugal, in a place called Gouveia. I can never get it right. And it was up in the mountains, this really old village, and there was an old cinema from the 50s. Okay. And they made a rock festival once a year, like a 3-day weekend thing. And that's what we did. We did that with Renaissance a couple of years back. What year was that? 2015 we did that. Yeah, that was just phenomenal. But what was the question? just
you know, just asking how, you know, what events you had planned.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and then was the Germany. We were flying there for one show, and they'd asked us before, and we said we cannot come if we can't do any other shows in Germany or get another tour together, it's not as easy as people think.
Yeah.
You know, and so we had to keep refusing it because the money wasn't enough to get us there and back and pay our fees, you know, for the band. But then they made an offer we didn't want to refuse. It just made it to make it happen. And so we're just flying over for the one show. Steve Hackett's opening up on we're doing the Friday night headlining, and he's headlining the Saturday night. And so and then also I got my Christmas show was cancelled, because I do a Christmas show every year with my solo outfit, you know, and that's always good. And there was something going on in England that I can't really mention because it may still happen, so it might not be appropriate to mention it right now, but that was on the cards. I was being flown out for this special event. So yeah, but when it happened, I would be waking up in the morning and thinking, do I remember yesterday everything was cancelled? You know what I mean? And then realizing it was happening. It wasn't a bad dream. It was like,
yeah, it was a big Groundhog's Day type thing for everyone.
Yes, for everybody. I mean, what do you do? I mean, it was the worst thing of all for ours, I think, and a lot of bands, you know, are the same, is it broke up the momentum. We'd worked so hard since 2009 with the band, you know, and we'd done a lot of great things, and it was just kind of moving up. We could just feel it, you know, the momentum was getting more and more, and now we've lost 2 years.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been, I know that, you know, I've talked to a lot of musicians through this medium, and you know, they all kind of say the same types of things, that, you know, they were, you know, they weren't able, some were like, they were worried they couldn't make a living, others were worried they couldn't, you know, fulfill their obligations they'd made to the fans, and all of that kind of played into it, and it's been a tough time mentally, I think, for everyone.
Oh gosh, yeah. You know, when we did the show at the Castle, it was 2019, October 12th, I think, and gosh, when we got, in fact, I was due to go to Brazil 2 days before, 4 days before everybody else, to do interviews, and we'd got these amazing interviews lined up. O Globo is a huge TV station, a newspaper, and it's not easy to get on things like that, and that was all lined up, and it was really exciting. Very excited to go. I've got friends in Brazil now, I've been, you know, a few times, and it was so exciting. But we were rehearsing on the 12th and the 13th of March, and on the 12th, you know, we were talking, and I said, look, I said, I don't think we can go to Brazil. I don't know if we'd get back. So we did rehearse one day, and then I said, let's get together in the morning and then we'll call our agent. And he told me straight away, he said, Annie, don't worry, you know, we've had to reschedule the show until August, because, and then March, no, same again, same thing.
Just kept going and kept going.
It was, yeah, so it was heartbreaking. And, you know, apart from us, you know, what about the promoter? You know, you've got to, you have to lay out money when you're a promoter to hold venues and different things, and then you've got to worry about, are you going to get the ticket sales, or people want the money back? And oh gosh, what a job that is. But yeah, Brazil, I just pray that it's going to be okay. I know it's a bit of a mess down there. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to be political at all. It's not my place here. But yeah, I just pray that it happens. I've got a good feeling about it, but I particularly about Germany. I think we'll go back there. I think, and that's going to be exciting as well.
You've been asked through the years, Annie, to contribute to vocals. You contribute vocals to other artists' albums. Some of the ones that stand out to me, at least recently, I say recently, but it's been several years for some of these. The Night and Day EP with Magenta, and In the End that you did with John Wetton and Jeff Downes for Icon. You know, what is it like to be invited to do other artists' songs with them, and how do you decide which ones to do and how to approach those?
Well, actually, to be honest, I haven't done very many at all, except the ones you mentioned, and being on a tribute album, you know, with Steve Howe, you know, Turn of the Century and Ripples, whatever. But no, and I in the 70s, really, when you'd think that you would be put forward for different things, but it never happened with us. I don't know why. And I was like a little bit naive on business stuff and everything, and I didn't think of it because we worked so much. You know, we were always touring, recording, and so I didn't really think about, oh, I'd love to sing with that person or that you know, whatever. But yeah, the Magenta thing was lovely. That was a surprise, and What was the other one you said?
You and
Oh,
John
John.
and Jeff.
Well,
Yeah.
John Wetton was in Renaissance in the early days. I think he
Right.
played 4 shows with us, and yeah, so yeah, that was wonderful to do that with John. And of course, it was Jeff Downes' icon, wasn't it? The thing they called themselves.
Yes.
But I had my birthday last year, which is coming up again soon. Is my friend, well, Jeffrey Langley, the keyboard player, who's the youngest in the band. He's brilliant, and he set up at his future in-laws place. No, his in-laws place up the road. And it just so happens that his in-laws up my street. What's the chances of that? No chance, really. But anyway, they had a birthday party for me. We wore masks and everything, and the distance thing. And then they showed me. Then they put a little computer in front of me, you know, a laptop, and they did a video for me of lots of people saying, you know, happy birthday. And Steve Hackett and Joe were on it. Jeff Downes, Michael from Opeth was on it. He's a huge fan. And you know, other friends in the business, my band, all my band members and everything like that. And it was wonderful. And what I did after that is I contacted Jeff about a month after, and I said, shall we write a song for John? And he said, what a great idea. Yeah. And so we ended up within the next month or two, you know, going backwards and forwards. I did the rough, you know, I wrote he sent me a piece of music, and not a lot of people know this, I don't think, is that John was a big fan of ABBA. I didn't know that either. So Jeff thought, let's do like an ABBA-ish song. And that's what it is. Yeah, it's called Stars in Heaven. He already had that title. And so I wrote the words for it. And I was messing around in my art studio here with a garage band, actually, just to do the back, you know, just to. I'm not technical, but at least I made it so that he could understand the words and whatever. And then I went up to Rave's studio. He sent me a proper backing track, and Jeff, and then I put my words on it, and you know, recorded it. And it came out really great. And so what's happening with John, they're doing his manager, Martin Jarvis, another friend of mine, and he was, you know, I think he manages Yes and Asia, but he's putting out, I'm not sure all the details, but it's going to be a box set of John's work. And this song is going to be in that. So that's really exciting, really excited about that. So that's maybe this year, I'm not sure. I know they're working on it now. They've been working on it for a while, you know, people haven't been touring. So, well,
I'll have to keep some. I'll have to keep some clearance on my credit card limit then for that one, because I'll have to have that one.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's gonna. Wow, what a, you know, John's bass playing was fantastic. But his voice is unique.
Yeah, I would say for me, John Wetton his voice was the voice that I wished I had growing up when I was listening to what he was doing, you know, in all of his iterations, UK and Asia and everything. And I just, you know, something like his Rock of Faith, title track from his Rock of Faith album, those were songs that I just said, man, if I could do one thing as good as John Wetton does that,
yeah,
I would be set.
Just, and then we got to sing together on Blood Silver Like Moonlight, you know, which is on the Grandinale Vento album, which we changed to Symphony of Light at one point. That was wonderful to do that. He did his part in England though, but it was beautiful. But yeah, I mean, if anybody's interested in this box set, which I'm sure there's a lot of people out there are, then his website is where you're going to find details of how it's getting on. It used to be, I think, johnwetton.co.uk. It used to be that. So that's where they'd hear this song in that box. It's going to be amazing, I'm sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. What else do you have coming up other than this wonderful 50th anniversary?
Yeah. I, I may have an art show. Just realised I may have an art show locally myself with the local gallery. But as far as with the band, there won't be anything. Langley actually is doing. He's got a separate project. He's a band. He's got his own band, and I'm going to be doing some vocals on that. So I'm looking forward to doing that with him. And then I've got my Christmas show coming up this year at the Sellersville Theatre, and it's we never know. Well, we missed it last year, of course, but we have such a good time. And we always think, how are we going to do it this time? Because it's so something always happens that makes it even funnier and more interesting every single year we do it. It's really great. And then next year, then we're working on Brazil. I'm sure, praying that happens, and then Germany, and then we're hoping to do, I think probably in the fall, we want to do another tour. I don't know whether it will be our last, mainly because of my age, as much as I hate to say it. But I still have my 5 octaves, but I think it'll happen. When I usually visualize something, it happens. And so I'm visualizing it happen, and then to do something special, something else special in it as well, I don't know what yet, but I'm going to do something, that's for sure, because it's my big year, you see.
There you go.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, Annie, I just want to ask you one last question. Through the years, you've become sort of this iconic voice in symphonic and progressive rock, almost a symbol for women in prog rock. Are you comfortable with that mantle? Is it something that you enjoy, being known for, or?
Yeah, no, I think that's wonderful. I've heard from other singers, and they said that they've listened to me and they love my voice, and it's helped them, but yeah, no, I like that. Again, that I guess that my voice is unique. That's the other thing. You can have, well, if you want a hit single, or you really want to do, you've got to have everything. You've got to have a great song, you have to have a great voice, great musicians. You have to have the whole package.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just really glad that we were in the 70s. I see myself at that audition now. I got dressed up in my 70s tapestry long floor length coat with my hair parted in the middle. I looked the part. I mean, that was who I was then, but it was so different back then, to what it is now. I know that a lot of bands have been doing these Zoom things, to keep their fans happy and everything, but Rave and I talked about doing something, but we'd rather them, if we didn't do anything else, have the shows that we did in their minds, that the last, like this DVD basically. Yeah. And rather than me singing Mother Russia in my kitchen.
Yeah.
But some of them have been great. Yeah. And if they can make any money, that's great. But it's never been about money for me, even though I need it. And I feel blessed that I can paint because I love it so much. And it's different. Again, it's like my voice, really. My art is different. If anybody wants to see it, then go to anniehaslam.com, have a look. But I love it with a passion. I love it with a passion, just like I love singing.
Mm-hmm. Well, your fans do too. And Annie Haslam's, I can't thank you enough for being so generous with your time. Appreciate it. And, I wish you the best of luck with this. It's called Renaissance 50th Anniversary, Ashes Are Burning, an anthology live in concert with the Renaissance Chamber Orchestra.
It is long, isn't it? You can take a breath in the middle if you want.
Okay. Yeah. I hope it does well. Obviously, Cherry Red had sold out of the first allotment of it, but get on Amazon or wherever
Well,
and
no,
order
they
this.
don't. No, we've got it.
Okay, go right to your website.
I mean, if you're in America, you don't want to
There you
pay the
go.
price to, to get it from England.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, just go to renaissancetouring.com and they can go buy it there. That's
Okay.
definite. That would help us survive right now.
Yeah, you get a better deal with that than anything sold through other outlets.
Well, we're selling it through ours, and it's ours, right?
Right.
We've got the rights for the album for North America, South America, and Canada.
Okay, great.
So, but yeah, we need that. We need those sales. That would be good. And yeah, if anybody's interested in my art, website, pet portraits, paint songs, I'll paint anything. Well, not anything. Almost anything.
I have a bedroom. Could use some painting.
It's funny, yeah. People say when
Yeah.
I'm a painter, can you come round and paint my house? No.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Annie. Best of luck with the
Thank you so
box
much,
set.
Michael. And if you think of anything else you want to, you just let me know, and I'll let Billy know, and whatever.